my name is James. Thank you for joining me as we carry on with this concerned review of the book Physics of Heaven. The book was published in 2012 under the banner of Bethel Church, co-authored by Judy Franklin and Ellyn Davis. We're looking at Chapter 11, which is titled, Strange Things Are Afoot. Let's take a look at the content. This chapter could be considered Part A, with the next chapter being Part B, one kind of continuum of discussion, in which she describes quantum physics and the overlap with quantum mysticism. Although this chapter deals more overtly with quantum physics as a hard science, as I've said, there is quite a deal of entanglement with mystical elements throughout. So Davis begins by contrasting Newtonian physics on the one hand with quantum physics on the other, and she says that whereas the former appeared to have hard and fixed rules of how matter would interact, the latter appears to, quote, act more like something alive that senses the desire of the observer and responds to it, end quote. So she summarizes aspects of quantum physics, and she describes behavioral, spatial, and temporal aspects of energy. Following this discussion, she acknowledges the strangeness and the difficulty in understanding this field of science and the ways that has led people to use quantum physics to, quote, reinforce Eastern mystical beliefs about the nature of oneness of all reality and the power of human consciousness to create and manipulate that reality, end quote. Accordingly, she transitions into what she calls the, quote, rise of quantum mysticism, and outlines three concepts that underpin this belief. First of all, the world around us is an illusion. That's the first assertion. We see it as we do because we have been conditioned to do so for our entire lives. The second assertion is that the universe is a unified, interconnected whole. So because everything is one, everything is God, and God is everything. Our consciousness is an aspect of this divine consciousness. And the third assertion is that we have the ability to create material reality. So because material reality allegedly needs an observer to make it assume material form, human consciousness, as an expression of the divine consciousness, has the power to shape reality. So Davis says that these concepts are supported by scientists with mystical leanings, as well as mainstream mystics such as Deepak Chopra, Fred Alan Wolfe, and Helen Schucman. As a result, many people believe in ideas like the so-called law of attraction, the law of intent, and the law of thought vibration. Now let's transition into a discussion of the spiritual assertions that are made in this chapter, as well as the handling of the Bible. As it turns out, there actually is no Bible drawn into this chapter, so that part's quite easy. But there are nevertheless spiritual assertions and implications for us as the believer. So Davis makes statements about quantum physics, and she quickly moves into a discussion of quantum mysticism, which is, again, the focus of the next chapter, and so that functionally these two are really one. She ends the chapter with a quote from a writer named Phil Mason, who says, quote, "These key concepts, one, that the material world is really a field of cosmic energy that can be manipulated by consciousness, two, that we are all part of a cosmically interconnected whole, and three, that our consciousness is an untapped resource that can shape reality, have emerged into a cluster of powerful ideas that have gripped the popular imagination of the Western world." End quote. So at the heart of these statements is, I see, a desire to dethrone God and to put ourselves in his place. This is idolatry, plain and simple, to claim that we have any of the key concepts which seem to go together to form quantum mysticism. Instead of denouncing these ideas as fundamentally opposed to the Christian message, Davis prepares us for the outrageous claims that are made in the following chapter by saying many quantum concepts appropriated by the New Age are actually distortions of Christian spiritual truths, as you will discover in the following chapters, end quote. So I hope that by moving slowly through the material, as we have chapter by chapter, you can see just how wrong she really is. In terms of the editorial concept, as I have said a number of times already, this chapter and the following chapter actually function thematically as one. I think that it would have felt too long as one continuous chapter, so a decision was made to cut it where it is. But nevertheless, this is the same message. We're really getting into the dark center of the beliefs in this book, and the beliefs of the contributors are really coming out of hiding now. In just a couple of pages, the mess is going to reveal itself for what it is. I hope you'll stick with me as we carry on with this concerned review. Join me again.